One of the most traditional wineries in Australia, certainly in Barossa Valley, is Rockford. And I'm thrilled to be able to sit with Robert O'Callaghan and get the history of Australian Shiraz and specifically how it relates to Barossa Valley. So Shiraz getting to Australia, give us the goods.
Well, we were lucky because in this state, because it was settled by free settlers with an eye to commerce, and we live in a Mediterranean climate, and so they had to choose varieties from the old world. But luckily for us, they chose the south of France, and they proved to be very adaptable to the region. They planted the vineyards thrived, and luckily for us, a lot of those old vineyards are still here today.
Gosh, I'm thinking the German heritage makes me think of grilled sausages for this one, but
yeah, well, I mean, the Barossa thing, as I say, I'm not native to the Barossa, but because I'm not native, I've always been fascinated by the place. This is the only large European migration into Australia in that early period. Australia was set up by the Irish and the Scots and the English, with the exception of the Barossa, where a large group of Eastern Europeans came as a block, came as an organised community. They brought an entire community with them, and they set up here, and they were self-sufficient within a very short time, and they were organised, and so they very quickly built a really distinctive culture in the new world, and a wine culture. I mean, they were wine drinkers. they liked to drink, so...
Lucky for Barossa.
Yeah, very lucky for the Barossa. But they brought with them a work ethic and a cultural distinction. It's still influential today, but it's not dominant like it was when I first came here.
If you're going to sort of sum up the quintessential flavour of Barossa, which I know is probably not that easy, but what would you say about Barossa Shiraz?
I think one of the things that makes Barossa Shiraz different to elsewhere in Australia is how long we've been here. All those things to do with people in a region for a long time, there's kind of not much chance left in it. It's kind of evolved, and what makes old vineyards great is only the great ones survived. If they were no good, they got pulled out. I mean, if they didn't deliver flavour every year, they got axed. So the old vineyards that are left are the best of it.
No, because it seems to me, I mean, we talked earlier about modern, and you say no, you're about the most traditional winery, yet there's a modern sort of perception to me in this, and there's a richness and ripeness, but there's purity of fruit that runs right through the middle of this, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's got a bit to do, I think, with the way that we make our wine, because we, all the machinery at Rockford's all at least 100 years old, some of it older. Everything's done by hand picked, hand pruned. Everything's soft, so you tend, I think, to be able to capture that really fine fruit. He's never working the fruit. They're never working the fruit that hard. I like to think that. At the end of the day, that's what I've done. Each year I've used the warmth of the region to ripen the fruit, and then I've used the winemaking techniques to try and find that back. I think all the good Barossa wine is like that. It's in the cold regions, the poorly made wine is green and acidic and thin. In the warmer regions, the poorly made wine's too ripe, it's too jammy, it's a bit cooked. But the well-made wine in a warm region has the warmth, but it has a bit of fineness and a bit of elegance about it as well.
Well, cheers to Barossa Shiraz, because
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
that.
I'm a huge fan.
Cheers.
Thank you, cheers.
Okay. That's good.
Good, that's bloody delicious.